okay, to look like this over here if we're going to break up to the top side. So on the 8-hour chart, which I like trading the higher time frames, okay, that setup would look something like this. To go long, once the candle closes above, you want to eventually try to go to the trend line, but realistically, the first target should be the wicks of these different levels here. I'm going to kind of give you that here as we go forward. Right, those would be your profit lines, and eventually try to take it all the way to the top side. Your bottom, if you need it, would be behind this consolidative area. Let's start looking at the technical analysis for crude oil. Now, what I want you to do is keep in mind that I am using the CL current futures chart. So depending on your broker, this may or may not be off by just a few cents. So for example, currently right now, price closed on this chart at $71 a barrel. And in my Thinkorswim futures platform, it is currently $71.07. So again, about a 7-cent difference from TOS, but the price action should be exactly the same. Now, we are going to kind of look in right here as we kind of deep dive on this monthly chart. Okay, we can definitely see that we have been very bearish so far during the month of February. Okay, if we go over to the weekly chart, we can see that we have had 3 consecutive weeks of downfall with crude oil. A lot of this has been impacted because of some of the latest news. So let's kind of get you ready and prepared before we do a full analysis. And hopefully you'll stick around to the end of the video where we'll look for some setups. Let's look at a couple of the key headlines that we definitely want to pay attention to. Now, we did have the U.S. non-farm payroll, which did fall to 143,000, below the 169,000 forecast, while unemployment dropped to an 8-month low of 4%, leaving the markets uncertain. Key indicators between next week's U.S. CPI and Powell's testimony will shape inflation expectations and their impact on economic growth and crude oil demand. However, with Trump advocating lower prices and higher production, a bearish outlook dominates U.S. crude oil markets. So again, that last line is pretty important to remember, that even though we trade what we see and we're going to see some ups and downs, the overall structure of crude oil is still to the downside. Now, in some other very important news, which was the Chinese data versus the tariff risks, China's short-term economic boost may have ended as the trade war with the U.S. intensifies. Initial tariff headlines caused brief price spikes, but their broader economic impact remains contractionary, reducing oil demand potential. Let me say that again, reducing oil demand. If there's less demand for oil, that usually will mean that what? Okay, price will go down. Chinese inflation for January is expected to rise due to pre-tariff economic activity and export boosts, while new loans remain uncertain amid heightened risk and U.S. rivalry. However, given China's strong innovation-driven economy, resilience against U.S. headwinds can be expected. So again, some possibility that on the fundamental side, we continue to be bearish. And for right now, that should really be the play within crude oil, to keep looking for these bearish moves versus trying to time the market to possibly swing up. And then lastly, here are some key events that you definitely want to pay attention to. Okay, if you're in the trading club, then don't worry, we got you. We go over all this stuff here, but you definitely want to keep an eye on the Chinese CPI and PPI and new loan data. That will have an impact on crude oil. Trump tariff negotiations will happen on Monday or Tuesday. So barring the news with China and other players, this will impact the cost of crude oil. You have Fed Chair's Powell testimony and semi-annual monetary policy. That will have an impact. And then lastly, the US CPI and FOMC member insights. So we've got a lot of the stuff here that we definitely need to pay attention to on the fundamental side. Don't get caught up not knowing what is going on And so definitely want to keep an eye on the fundamentals. Even though you'll hear me say over and over, we trade what we see. Understand that if you see a quick spike in the market, that could be a fundamental piece of news that is coming out from the heavy laden news events that are going to happen. Okay. And again, if you are connected in the club with me, or if you're not yet there, you can definitely go up and look to subscribe into our community where we keep you abreast of everything across the board, from crude oil to natural gas to all the indices and everything else. But that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. And if at any time you get any value on this video, do me a favor, smash the like button. Let's go for 100 likes on this video. That's all you need to do. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it keeps me excited about promoting more highlights during the week for all of you subscribers or non-subscribers in the group here. Okay, so we are definitely looking at crude oil here. Now, we definitely want to look at a couple of different things here. Okay, we did have, we're kind of following this lower momentum, just so you can see it here. And then we've actually have a very low all the way down here at the bottom, which is 63. And this is going to be important as we move forward, okay? Because we have seen here now with these three candles, but especially this last one, became another bearish engulfing candle over the last weekly candle there. Okay, so all signs are still pointing that crude oil, again, fundamentally is still going to be heading down. And this is a very important level. And I'm going to show you that here on the daily in just a minute. Okay, so the action for crude oil is definitely bearish. Now, as we jump over to the daily chart, okay, let's zoom on in here so we can kind of take a look, at this level right here. Now, if we look right here, we had touch points to the top here before price fell. We had a similar touch point to where price fell here. Okay. And if you look across to the left, this little area here has been a pretty substantial supply and demand zone. Okay. It's never perfect. It's just an area. And this is going to be, I think, a critical area for crude oil. And now that we have kind of found our way underneath here, and you can see here on the daily chart, okay, we are here at this 70.44. Okay, so we did close below this structure point. Now again, this structure point if you really look at it, some people will say it's here, some people would say it's here, so it's somewhere in this vicinity here. Okay, now we did retest this area and we fell, and now we've shown what we came back up to retest. So I think this is going to be the critical structure for the long term of crude oil. Okay, so as we look and establish for possible setups here over the course of the next few minutes, for those of you that are looking to swing trade crude oil, this is going to be very important, because I don't believe that we go back up to 73 or 74 until we have a candle to close above 72. So the example for you would be this candle right here. If you get a candle, okay, on the 8-hour or higher to close above this yellow area here, this could dictate the price action to maybe go up, retest, and then continue back up towards that 78 trend line. If we do not get an 8-hour candle to close above this level right here, then price will possibly stay bearish. Okay, this needs to happen if you're into swinging a long position to the upside. Okay, so this is for the long traders. I would not go long on anything long term unless I saw this price action. Okay, and just to give you kind of an area to look for, here is your candle. You need a bullish engulfing candle like this one to close above on the 8-hour, to then do its thing, and then eventually go to the top side. Okay, if that's going to happen. So again, do not go long above 72 unless you see that. Okay, so let's get back to the daily. And as we kind of zoom in here, on the daily, we can see here that over the last 2 days, okay, price, it was kind of stuck in this area right here, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this just for now, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and turn this yellow so it looks a little different into this aqua color, okay? So how long is crude oil going to sit in this little channel right here? And if you look at the 8-hour, there is the 8-hour. So you can kind of see here that we are kind of in this consolidative state here over the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-hour candles. So there's going to need to be a breakout to one side or another. And this is where the example I just gave you on the 8-hour, you're going to need to see this candle, okay, to look like this over here if we're going to break up to the top side. So on the 8-hour chart, which I like trading the higher time frames, okay, that setup would look something like this. To go long, once the candle closes above, you want to eventually try to go to the trend line, but realistically, the first target should be the wicks of these different levels here. I'm going to kind of give you that here as we go forward, right? Those will be your profit lines, and eventually try to take it all the way to the top side. Your bottom, if you need it, would be behind this consolidative area, okay? That's the way a long would work if you get this bullish engulfing candle over here somewhere, okay? That's the way that long is going to work, okay? So the short is going to happen in a different position. Now let's get back over to the daily time frame, and let's kind of give you where there's a possibility for that short. Because if we break below this level right here, okay, I'm gonna call this level 69.30-ish. Okay, if we break below this level, okay, then we should be heading down to the next major support area, which is about 63. Okay, which is about 63. Now, we are beginning to see the signs of possible further bearish movement. And I'm going to be adjusting this in just a minute for those of you that are aggressive traders with some take profit areas. So this here is beginning to look a little bit like this, right? So we are below this particular zone. If we take a look at this price action on the 8-hour, right, are we beginning to see signs of this happening on the 8-hour? If we go across, we're kind of here, right? We're kind of right here. So that's why I think the news on Monday and Tuesday, when it comes to some of the tariff negotiations that are happening, are going to be important as we dive through some of these different news events that are going to be happening on Monday and Tuesday of this week. So heading back into the chart here, now what you want to do is you want to move this below the zone. Okay. Now this here would give you a possibility to take this down to support. But again, having to cash out at where price has shown, where price has reacted to the bottom side. Okay. So to the downside, and I'm going to move this over just a little bit. To the downside, this would kind of be where you are setting up a breakout. I'm going to make this white. And this would kind of look like a sell stop to the downside for breakout. Sell stop breakout. And remember, the key to any of this stuff is to protect your trade after 20 points on crude oil. And then this here would look like a buy stop. This would be a buy stop breakout. Okay. So these things here would need to happen once this consolidation piece breaks. Until then, trading in between the zone could be very tricky. Okay, could be very tricky. You rather see the strong price action in one direction or another. I'm going to show you the different views from the 4-hour to the 1-hour. You can see here is the consolidation piece on the 1-hour time frame. So this is why we need the breakouts in either a buy situation or a sell situation. In the meantime, trading inside this aqua box could be very, very difficult. Okay. So that's kind of the play for the beginning of the week. Now we will take a look at our gaps that may happen Sunday night. And again, we will be trading all gaps, crude oil, natural gas, indices, and the currencies at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not yet a member and you want to join us for live analysis today, Sunday, and all week, as we normally do every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for a pre-market U.S. Open, I invite you to come on in, check out the group for about $1 a day. You can get massive value, 2 plans to choose from. Try it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, which I know you will, you can always hit the cancel button and you will now be billed again. Okay, hope you got some value on this video. As you can see, I'm kind of still a little hoarse, fighting a little laryngitis here, but I hope to see you in the chat. If you have any questions, drop them down below in the video comments so I can get back to you within 24 hours. I love helping people. I believe that's what God is using me for, to share the knowledge that I've been able to learn over 9 years of trading and just be able to give back to this community. So thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. And if you're in the United States or you watch American football, enjoy the Super Bowl later tonight. May God bless you and your families.